Okay. Welcome everyone on the show. This is Jimmy Zest here. It's a pleasure having you on this another broadcast. Today on the show, I'm having some beautiful ladies with me, which will be talking all things books. This is the third episode of our show. I just want to appreciate everyone who has been sending in their feedback about the interviews. I really appreciate the entire feedback. With me today, I'm having Carrie Myers. She's an author and also oh, sorry about that. With me today, I'm having Carrie Myers. She's an author and also a collaborator on Sensual Solution. Together with us, we're having Riedman, Laurie.
Hi.
Together, we shall be discussing about everything books, about their works, about their collaborative efforts, about their writing journey, and more things as the show proceeds. Let me invite you, Carrie, to introduce yourself to our dear listeners and all those who will be viewing us on YouTube.
Well, thank you for having me, Jimmy, me and Laurie, and introducing Sensual Soulshine out to the world. I'm Carrie Myers. I'm an author, a mom, a poet, a speaker. What else do I do? I don't know. Lots of things. And it was my idea to, get people together, get women together for Sensual Soulshine. And Laurie answered the call. And I was very blessed that altogether there is 11 women in this book who are very vulnerable, strong, went through some healing processes and reclaimed their sensuality.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That
you.
has been Carrie Myers giving us a brief introduction about herself. At this moment, let me invite Laurie to also introduce herself to our dear listeners and viewers.
Sure. Hello, and thank you for having me, Jimmy. Carrie and I did a similar conversation on YouTube recently that was really fun, so I'm sure this is going to be a nice conversation. I am an author, a blogger, and a coach. I have a company called BU Coach, where I help do relationship coaching with couples as well as individual coaching so that people can be who they are meant to be. And I wrote a book recently published called Diamonds in the Dirt, Stories from a Junkyard Girl, which is about my personal journey healing from some childhood trauma and about living in a junkyard where I grew up. But part of that was healing some personal issues around sensuality. And so I was so pleased to be able to submit a piece. I'm one of the 11 women that have a piece submitted in the book, Sensual Soulshine. And my piece is called Pleasure Practice.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Pleasure, the title of your piece?
It's called Pleasure Practice, and it's about finding joy in every moment. And so how, as part of my healing journey, I wanted to or needed to kind of practice and allow myself to feel something that was pleasurable. So even the wind on my face, or the way a strawberry tasted, or in the essay that I submitted, I actually talk about enjoying an ice cream and how we can become more aware. And by becoming more aware and present, we can enjoy and be in the moment. What I found, what was preventing me from feeling pleasure, not just sensually in the bedroom, but everywhere, was things that were blocking me from feeling it. So my essay is about how I practiced feeling that in all different places in my life, including, feeling the sunshine on my face or the wind, or looking at the sun setting and really enjoying that moment. So that's what my piece is about, that is in the book.
Thank you, Laurie. I appreciate. I hope our dear listeners and viewers have got a clear picture about how this book came up and your inspiration to join the 11 ladies. Back to Carrie. This brings me to your first question.
Uh-huh.
I would want you to share with us the background of this entire idea, coming up with this idea, collecting all these 11 ladies, and you decide to write a book about sensuality, more especially for women. And then the inspiration. What inspired you? Before we go to Laurie, to also share with us our inspiration.
Well, the first thing is that when 2020 hit, I was invited to a little training that Nicola Humber was doing with the Unbound Press, which is the press that has published this book. And I realized that I had value in what I had to say through her training. And that pushed me to publish my poetry book, which is called Soul Confetti. And that felt really good. So I talked to Nicola and we talked about Soul Shine, which is our original book, our first book. And it's 26 ladies who are talking about how they have let go of societal expectations and all the stuff that gets layered on us through our lives, and discovered that they're meant to be something other than what society has labeled them to be. And so after that one was published, Sensual Soulshine kind of landed with me in a meditation. And part of it is selfish because I wanted to reclaim my sensuality after some trauma. And I find it very powerful when women get together and share their stories. So we know that we're not alone in what we're going through, and we can help each other to become who we're always meant to be and heal and lift each other up.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Sure, it's amazing. Okay, Laurie, when
Yes.
Carrie reached out to you and the other ladies, what was that first thing that came into your mind when she reached out to you about coming up with this collaborative effort?
Well, I love community, being in community with like-minded people, and particularly women. I think something special happens when women come together and share. And there's a special kind of magic that happens in community. So as a writer, during the pandemic, I was writing with a lot of online communities, meeting men, women, writers from all over the world. And I really enjoyed that sense of community. And so being part of a collaborative book like this with the topic that was so varied, I mean, I think Sensual Soul Shine can elicit, and if you read the book, and I encourage your readers and you to do so, because it isn't just for women. I think it's really important that you can see how the topic itself is not narrow. It affects a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and it's very evident in all of the stories that Carrie collected and put in this collection. I'm happy to have one in there. So if the first inspiration was to be part of something greater and to come together with other women, and the other part was a big part of my coaching practice, a big part of writing my book and publishing my memoir, was really to share my truth and to allow others to see that and own me owning it, and by doing so hopefully inspire others. So I hope that people who read my story will be inspired to find their sensuality, their pleasure, and broaden that definition and step into that more in their everyday lives. Does that make sense to me?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate. I'm just enjoying the entire conversation. The reason why I'm listening, I'll have to read something about this entire discussion. And I want to thank you again, ladies, for making up time. And we have this awesome conversation. I hope, and I believe many ladies outside there, they will love this entire information that we're having here today, the discussion. this is also maybe to inform Carrie. I was talking to some of the ladies. There is a friend of mine. She's from the UK
Uh-huh.
and also based in South Africa. She's called Jean Olivia. She told me she's in love with poetry these days and she's going to grab your book. I was
Wonderful.
telling the other book, let me recall the title, Soul Prophet.
Yes, yes, so
Nice.
confetti.
Yes,
By
nice.
then, and she'll be sharing the review. After here, I'll be giving her, maybe when I return home, I'll be giving her your email. Then you guys can be in touch. She's also an author and
Wonderful.
a collaborator at Bookland.
Wonderful.
If you're,
I'd love to meet her.
oh, you'll meet her.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Jimmy, Carrie has a lot of wonderful poetry in this collection too. It's not all poetry, but she's submitted some very nice poems. And there's, I think, one or two other Carrie that included a poem, right?
Yes, yes, yes. There's several
Yeah.
poems scattered
I'll
throughout
have,
this.
I'll have to, I will dive into that book. Then I'll share my review. Are you on Goodreads?
Yes.
Okay, I will share my review on Goodreads with you guys when I get to read the book.
Wonderful. Thank you. And if we
Okay,
can
bro.
if I can just plug myself here, Soul Confetti, my poetry book is also Soul Confetti is the name of my podcast. So if you're excited about the poetry book, then maybe you can listen to the podcast. Laurie is on my podcast and a few other ladies from Sensual Soulshine. And it's just expanding our stories and actually getting to know the authors a little more. Um, so if one inspires you, maybe the other one will catch your attention too.
Yes, of course they are listening. Of course they are viewing us. They will be sharing their feedback with me on the magazine and on the blog. Laurie, I will be sharing with you our blog. Maybe you can have a look at it. And probably when the magazine comes out on 4th September, I'll share with you guys so that you
Sure.
can see
Thank
how you
you.
can grab
Yeah.
one for yourself.
I
We
have
have
a
a lot of,
blog on Substack. I don't know if you're familiar with Substack.
yes, I know some stuff.
Yeah, so I have a blog on there too, and it's kind of nice to publish whenever I don't publish on a regular schedule. I don't know if you have a regular schedule for the magazine that you have to publish all the time, but as a writer, it's kind of nice to publish when the inspiration strikes and something comes to me that I want to share.
Yes.
So that's why a
We
blog
are,
is so nice. It's not like committing to an entire book or even like an entire magazine. It's really just I love being able to read other people's blogs too. It's like I can climb into their little brains and hear and feel what they're feeling and hearing in the moment, which is lovely.
Yes.
amazing. This drives me to the other part. We shall be discussing this. It will be one of the major topics next month. Our next month we are trying to reach out to authors, supporting each other, sharing insights, sharing techniques which have helped other authors. And online marketing is one of those fundamental things that people will be finding in there. And Substack comes in there.
Mhm.
Every author, it will be good for you to have a website, then a blog on Substack. Why Substack? Let me use also this opportunity to share with those who will be viewing us, some of the authors we have been raising authors. Substack, it is easy to deliver newsletters, especially directly in the email boxes of these various readers, your readers. You keep in touch and it's easy for you to follow up with the feedback. So when you talk about Substack, that's a good thing you are doing right there.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
great. I mean, and they keep adding things. I mean, not only do I get to support other writers and um, talk shop or be able to talk about writing and that whole journey of writing and support them, but as you said, when I post something, I get to comments back from readers, and when you push the publish button, it's like you're publishing it out into the ether and you don't even know if anyone's really reading it. So the lovely thing about being part of a Substack community is that you do get that feedback, like you said, Jimmy. People get
Absolutely.
to send some, and we have conversations, and it's really fun. It's a lot of fun as a writer, people say writing is very solitary, and I don't find that. I think maybe because we share what we write. When I read something that someone's written and it feels, I could feel part of it. There's a kinship that you feel. It is like climbing into someone's brain or heart. And maybe for some people it's safe to write than to say it.
Yes.
For me, I think for both Carrie and I, we're comfortable saying and writing it.
Just a little bit.
I like
But I
that.
think Substack is a great thing to encourage people to join and to be part of it. The community is getting really large. You can also charge. I mean, some writers are making money on Substack by charging for their writing. I don't do that personally, but there is the possibility of actually making a little bit of money as a writer on Substack too, which is nice.
Yes.
About that, I'm part of the book club. It's a journalist and a bookstagrammer. Bookstagrammers, we're having bookstagrammers on there, then journalists. It's like a collaboration. But the admins, those who are moderating everything, the book club, they are charging on Substack,
Okay.
and some of the revenue generated helps on running most of the activities like books and stuff.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah.
Therefore, maybe to conclude with that, let me add on the voice. I'm encouraging everyone outside there, every writer, every author, to join Substack.
Yeah.
To go start about if they're having courses, you can as well dive into the courses. You learn more about the platform before you start using it. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get more
Okay,
efficient with Substack.
no problem. You will get that. We shall encourage you. We shall support you.
Thank you.
Okay. My third question to you ladies. This is an overall question. How have the ladies found this particular book, Sensual Soul Shine? The feedback you are getting from ladies, because I believe most of the audience, which the book is appealing to, primarily is the women. How have they found the book? Maybe you can share with us.
Can you clarify that question? I'm sorry.
Can I repeat the question?
Yes.
Primarily, I believe the book appeals to the women. I want you, it's an overall question. I want you ladies to share with us the feedback which you have been getting from the readers, more especially the women. How
Yeah.
have they found the book?
You know, honestly, I haven't gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of reviews, but when I do, people are in awe. Because the stories in here, there's 23 chapters, and the stories in here are all very unique. But there is something that each of us can relate to in each of those chapters. No matter what your life has been like, there's something that you're going to feel in your heart and in your gut when you read each of these chapters. And that's the feedback I get mostly, is like every chapter is different. It really proves that sensuality is a vast, incredible, cannot be defined, personal feeling and way of being in the world. That's the biggest feedback I get.
Yeah, and I would say I would agree with Carrie.
Okay.
The book is new, Jimmy, so I think that's why I haven't heard a lot. I went to one book fair and had a couple copies of the book, and I think I sold 1 or 2 copies. It's just started to be promoted. Like, this podcast is part of that, to get the word out about the book.
Yes.
So so far, I think the feedback has been good, but we certainly would like more. So if anyone listening to this book can pick the book up and give us feedback, I think we'd love to hear. What we hope happens is what Carrie had said, is that it allows everyone to recognize that their own sensuality is very unique. And there's
Yes.
no one size fits all. There's no way that you have to be or to show up or to feel or to do. It's really being comfortable in your own skin. And as women, being comfortable asking for what we need and knowing what we need and want, and finding our way to that, being present in who we are.
Yes. Yes, I think writing for most people is a way to help find their voice and find the words. I often say, and you'll hear this on everything I do probably, is that we don't know really what we're feeling or thinking until we speak it or write it. And I think writing and inviting other women to write along with you is an invitation to dig deep into our souls and into our hearts.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes.
I have to say, these days I've been interviewing a lot of women authors, and I like the fact that everyone is advocating. Every author I'm interviewing, they're advocating for the women, for the women.
Yes.
Previously, I was interviewing Sandra Dallas. She's a best-selling author from Colorado. She's 84 years. We had a very amazing discussion, and when we were getting to the end of our conversation, we came to this topic which we discussed, but briefly, though it was deep. Most of our books, primarily, she's writing for women. However, unlike other authors these days, she's addressing the problems which women faced during the 19th century and the 18th century. We're talking about the Great Depression. The Great Depression, how women were suffering, how women maneuvered through all this entire period. And according to her, this is the journey she shows. I was asking her whether she usually gets criticism. And it was surprising. She told me there is criticism about it. However, this has not limited her to tell her story, because she believes many women outside there, they have something to learn about that particular period. So I thank you ladies for taking this good journey of awakening other ladies, spreading the love, spreading the message. For me, I think sensuality is one of those things a person needs to be in fully for their awakening.
Yes.
It's part of the awakening process.
Yes.
And it's a very broad topic, a very large topic to digest. And it's with us.
I agree completely. The one thing I think is universal across the stories of sensuality within this book is that it's all about presence, being present in your body, regardless of what you're going through and regardless of how you define sensuality. It's like knowing where your feet are on the ground and building from there. And that's like the definition of sensuality in Webster's and online is kind of vague because it is hard to define. But I think if you start with being present in your body and how you feel or what you're eating or what you're listening to, etc., that then you can tap into what sensuality means to you.
Maybe, Laurie, can you add on that before we go on to our next question? Do you have something to add on? Okay.
You're muted, Laurie. You're right. No, you're still muted.
You're muted. You're muted. Carrie, you can help on that.
Yeah. Can I do that? Can I unmute her?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes. You
see if
just tap on it. Yes, Carrie, you can help on that. Use your dashboard.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
So
Gotcha.
sorry. I'm on my phone and you guys disappeared and I'm like, where did they go?
Oh no.
I couldn't find it. All I was going to say, Jimmy, is that there is a power in that presence. And that's why I think that, yes, the book is meant for women, but I think we all need to step into that presence to be authentically who we are meant to be.
It digs a foundation for us to know more about sensuality. At least for me, I believe if someone reads the book, they can have something like a foundation on understanding sensuality. As Carrie has said, it's really big. The
It is.
definition is big.
Yeah.
And the first thing which can help you to understand sensuality is you tapping into it, like being yourself. And I agree with that totally.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's where you start, and then
Mhm.
you can build it from there.
okay, my fourth question will be, why sensuality of all topics? And to add on that same question, how can someone tap into their sensuality? For those who have not yet read about the book, you can share a sneak peek. How can someone tap into their sensuality? And if someone reads this book, what are they going to find inside the book?
Well, again, starting with being present and like meditation, journaling, um, talking about it, taking a hot bath, feeling like even standing in the shower and just feeling the water on your skin is a way that you can practice that presence. And so that's a really good place to start. At the back of this book, and I'm just going to show the book to readers. It's very beautiful. So at the back of this book, there are a multitude.
Can I interrupt you?
Do it.
I'm sorry, our dear viewers, those who will be viewing us, we forgot to show the book. And
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah,
I was
that's
not, I had
that's
to
okay.
share, I had to get this and share a screen of the book. I don't know, you had to do that when you were hosting the other side. How I wish you had shared the screen. You share a screen of the book
Okay.
and the description. But it's okay, we shall do that the next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time because I should have had that ready to go. But at the back of the book, there is a multitude of journaling prompts that can start you off with your journey of figuring out your sensuality. But what I would say to people before they pick up the book, besides, just practicing being present, is to explore within yourself, like mentally, what your definition of sensuality, and then start to take that out into the world and just play,
Mhm.
play with it and see what
Practice.
comes through. Yeah, practice, which is Laurie's whole piece, right?
Practice it. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to add to that, Laurie?
I would say, we kind of covered being present as the main key. And I think your journal prompts at the end of the book are lovely. To me, it's just being in touch with myself, what
Yes.
my needs are, what my wants are, how I can better understand and meet those needs and wants. And like in terms of the practice, like I said, I mean, in my piece, I talk about practicing wanting an ice cream cone and really feeling the desire for the ice cream cone and anticipating its cold, yummy, creamy deliciousness, and then enjoying it in the moment. And then that feeling of satisfaction when you've given yourself what it is that you wanted and needed. So that to me is a practice.
Sensuality.
And I have to go in a few minutes, so
Okay.
I'm sorry I can't stay the whole time. But I appreciate being here, and I will send you, Jimmy, a link to my book, not just the Sensual Soul Shine, and my blog on Substack, so that you can add that to the show notes if you'd like.
Okay, maybe before you go, let me give you this chance to share your remarks before we move on with Carrie. However, we shall also not be staying for so long. I was coming to you sharing some of your works to our dear viewers and listeners. Use this chance to share some of your books, some of your works. Maybe introduce them to our dear listeners.
Well, I'm in one other collaborative collection of essays called Badass Sisterhood. And we're doing volume 2 right now. And it really was an opportunity. I met a bunch of writers online during the pandemic, and many of us had never been published before. So we decided to collectively publish a collection so we could say we were published. So there's women from all over the country and the world actually in that collection. And we're working on volume 2. And then I published my book in April, end of March, beginning of April, that has taken me 6 years to pull together. And again, it's called Diamonds in the Dirt, Stories from a Junkyard Girl. And it's a memoir told in individual essays about growing up in a junkyard and surviving some childhood abuse. But it was really more about resilience, the power of pretend and creativity, and how I have been able to be the healthy, vibrant woman I am today, and to inspire other people who have had challenges in their life to go back, quote unquote, in the dirt and mind their diamonds, to go back and find the gifts, because I believe there are gifts in everything that happens to us. And we have a choice. Our brain is wired for negativity. So we have a choice of staying in the negativity, staying in the victim, or we have a choice of making the choice of finding the gift, the learning, the growth, and reaching for that. And so that's what my story is about. So those that would like to read that, which I'd love them to, that's on Amazon, and you can find it on Goodreads as well.
I was going to ask about that.
And then my Substack blog is called More Than Words. And it's my name, Laurie Riedman, Laurieriedman. I'll send you the link. And that's where I can connect with you. So if you want to get on Substack and sign up, I don't send too many things. You know, you mentioned it's like a newsletter platform. People will get notified if they sign up when I publish something there, but I maybe publish one a month. But it's an opportunity to talk with me and to share a comment and what, you know, and I have a whole archive of many stories there, essays, a lot of things about being unique, being authentic, being who you are. A lot of my coaching clients, I write things and post them for them to see. So I really appreciated being part of this conversation, Jimmy and Carrie. And I hope that your readers will finish this podcast and just take a moment to maybe get in touch with maybe one thing that we talked about that might be something they could take along with them for their day.
Of course. As we let you go, I would love to let you know that next month, our campaign on the print magazine for September, because this one is coming out, then we shall be diving into September. We are having a campaign, Rating to Inspire. That's
Nice.
their campaign.
Love
How you
Perfect.
that.
can use, and this was an inspiration as I was hosting Sandra Dallas. We were talking about how authors and writers should not be limited to tell their stories. Let's pay the rest, let's pay anything. Let everyone tell their story.
Yes. Yes, because
Absolutely.
we all have a story to tell.
Of course.
And oftentimes we assume we see someone out and about and they're behaving in a particular way, and we make up a story, whether we own it or not, about their behavior. It's called a judgment, but we make
Right.
up a story. And oftentimes their story may be totally different.
So true.
Amazing. Amazing. It has been a pleasure having you on the Jimmy Zest show. We shall be streaming on YouTube and
I'll look for
Spotify.
it.
Hope to have you the next time. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Thank
Carrie.
you, Laurie.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, to everyone viewing us, we are still taking on this conversation. I'm still having Carrie Myers. She's the lead author on Sensual Solution. The reason why we are here today, we are discussing about this. It's a collaborative effort from 11 authors around the world. Am I right, Carrie?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So you can take it on from there, from where Laurie Riedman left us.
Let me get my thoughts in order here. Yeah, I am completely honored by the ladies who showed up to be a part of this book. the one thing that leaves me in awe is the vulnerability that's in this book of the people telling their stories of the traumas they've been through and the trials and errors that they have worked through in their life, and how that has led them, like Laurie said, whatever it is that we go through, it's meant to push us to be a more authentic, maybe push us into our soul's purpose. And you will get a lot of that in this book where people are like, okay, so this didn't work for me. And because it didn't work for me, it led me into knowing what does work for me. And then when you engulf that with sensuality, then you add an exponential layer to humanity that we're supposed to be able to experience.
For me, what I can urge, what I can use to urge everyone who is following this conversation, when you read this particular book, you're reading with a purpose. You give yourself a chance to read with a purpose.
Yes.
Read when you're not reading only to brag around good reads, to show off on the book club, go into those various groups where you are bragging, but you are reading with a purpose. There is a very great inspiration which you can get from this particular book. And for me, I believe these ladies have shared a lot of experience in this particular one.
Yes.
Kelly, as we try to summarize with this beautiful conversation, I will invite you to share more about your other works apart from Sensual Soul Shine. I know we shall be sharing more about this with the readers.
Okay.
Anyone who asks a question, we shall be here to respond. Because at Bookland, we are giving readers a chance to interact with their authors. When you discover an author, you have a chance to interact with them. We create that space for you to interact with your authors. We are always having back-to-back interviews, conversations and discussions and podiums. So let us use this opportunity, these remaining minutes, to share more about your other works apart from this collaborative book.
Yeah, I love that idea because, so often, like, you can't just reach out to Stephen King, right? And be like, hey, what's going on? And then like get deeper into his brain if you want to get deeper into his brain. But yeah, I would love to have a conversation with you and have that connection. So in regards to my other works, I do have that poetry book. It's a collection of poetry from, I would probably say the earliest was like maybe 10 or 12 years old. And the pandemic gave me that space to go back through my stack of journals and pull each of those poems out and put them in some kind of order. And so it's like 186 pages, and there's poetry, and you can witness my growth and my life through my poetry. So it's Soul Confetti, celebrating life's lessons. That has been like, I'm in awe that is published. But if you love poetry, I would love for you to get that book and give me feedback. The second book that is published, and I'm in several other collaboratives throughout, but the second collaborative that I led is called Soul Shine. And so there's 26 ladies in that one, and they're all stories about finding their purpose, finding it's very similar to Sensual Soul Shine. So Sensual Soul Shine's like this addition to Soul Shine, focusing on sensuality, where Soul Shine gave the authors the whole world to figure out what they wanted to write about, and coming through those social expectations and traumas and sloughing off the layers of all that stuff that builds up within us, and remembering that we are meant to shine. All of us are meant to shine and share our beauty with the world.
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe the same. I love the fact that this century, more especially this decade, which we are covering, ladies have been fundamental. They have been fundamental in advocating, in telling stories, in covering crisis. There is one from, I don't know whether you know these authors, Christy Woods Harvey.
No, I don't.
Okay. They're having a collaborative effort of a podcast, and it's like a group where they have collected all these readers all over the world. And they have brought them in one place. And every single Wednesday, they're trying to fix that gap. They're interacting with their readers on this particular one. It's a live, it's called Friends of Fiction. And
Okay.
an amazing fan. I'm a
I'll
very
have to
good
check
fan
that
of
out.
yes,
Yeah.
Friends of Fiction series every single Wednesday. A collaborative effort of 4 best-selling New York Times best-selling authors, Christy will serve. We are having her on our magazine, on our blog. You can check her out.
Yeah, I will look that up. Well, if I can also plug something that Jimmy and I are doing, and also Jeffrey, who is part of the Be the Spark movement, is we are offering people an opportunity to collaborate with us on a book called The Other Side of Fear. And it is stories about people working through their fear and finding peace and love on the other side of fear. So if you're interested in that, either get in touch with me or Jimmy about that. And I think it's going to be a fabulous book.
How did I even forget? Earlier today, I was trying to share with some authors from the UK about our particular works, and I
Uh-huh.
hope I'll be getting some amazing feedback. We have put in patience in this particular one. We want we want it to be a good, appealing book to the world, appealing to everyone, every person, to find this book relatable. We want to tell a lot of stories
Yes.
full of reality. Sure. So
Yes.
everyone wants to be part of this collaborative effort. I know my friends, the authors, the readers, you might want to be part of us. We are a free, open community to everyone. You can
Yes.
visit us at www.bethesparkmovement.com. Reach out to us on Facebook, I personal on my page, Jimmy Zest, on LinkedIn and everywhere. Then Carrie or Jeffrey Martin.
Yes.
We are everywhere. You can search for us and you get in touch.
Yes. It's a growing community, and we look forward to having other people join us. One of the easiest ways to find me is if you're just interested in my writing is carriemyersauthor.com. And it's CarrieMyers author.com. And you can find all of my writing in there.
Okay. I would say maybe let me also use this opportunity to
I think you're muted, Jeffrey. Jimmy. There you
Jeffrey,
go.
I had to interview Jeffrey this particular week. However, she had a very tight traveling schedule. She was from Canada,
Okay.
traveling back to LA. But I'll be having him next month for the
What?
next month. Okay, let me see. Next month, September, I'll be having an interview with him so that he can appear somewhere. He has a lot of great stories,
Yes. Yes.
especially when he's working on his book too.
Yes.
Okay, what was I saying? I'm even forgetting about it. I'm having a lot of ideas for.
I'm sure, because as
Okay.
we talk, our brains just keep like expanding. But you were
Yeah.
asking me to tell more about my collaborative books. Was the
Before you do
original
that,
of that.
I wanted to share with you and everyone listening in. Next month, I hope to start something like an initiative, uh, mentoring authors. At least I've been here. I've not been into the writing so much, but I've been covering, interacting with authors, publishers, librarians all over the world. And I have to say, at least I have some good experience right now, which I can share with others. So I'll be launching a mentorship program for
Wonderful.
authors right now. Yes. I know there is a lot which authors, more especially this generation, which they don't know, which they which they don't which they don't know, which they haven't yet grasped because of different reasons. Some of these people are still working, have tight schedules. They don't have all this time to explore the different platforms, the different resources which have been placed there for the writers. I'll be inviting you guys. You can proceed with,
Yeah, I think
oh, you
that
can
is,
proceed with your presentation about more of the collaborative.
yeah, but I just
I-
want to say thank you for that, because there's so much to being an author, and it is very difficult to get your name out there, and there's so many platforms, and you could be on platforms a week and still not really get yourself out there as much as you would like to.
Right.
So with any help with that is phenomenal. There's a few other collaboratives I've been a part of. Wake Up Mother is stories of mothers and working through their working through just motherhood, right? And all the doubts that each of us have, and the trials and errors that motherhood gives you. Um, Walking the Unbound Path is another one that I have a poem in. No, I don't have a poem in that one. I have a poem in hashtag 2020, a year like no other. Um, and the unbound path is just telling how I live an unbound life. And it more or less talks about having that connection with nature and just owning my true self. So those are a few of the things that I do. I'm in a few magazines. Uplift Universe, Fierce magazine is getting ready to relaunch their magazine, and I have been in Fierce Truths magazine, um, and probably a few other things that I can't really recall right now.
Okay, thank you for sharing with us. Before I comment about that, I will tell you to send my special appreciation and regards to Nicole Amber
Yes,
of the Unbound Press.
yes,
I would
yeah.
have
She
to say
couldn't be here today.
I'm appreciating the work she's doing with the ladies, and especially pushing for stories for ladies. I haven't yet explored a lot of her works, but what I know is that she's doing a great work in telling stories, inviting ladies, more so working together.
Yes,
So special regards to you, Nicole. I hope maybe next month or later, you will be invited to come and share more about the Unborn Press.
yeah,
What I have to say about all those works, it's a very great collection and catalog, especially when we are moving out of this space, going out to tell stories. And this brings me to the prompt, which I'll be leaving to our dear listeners, most of the readers and all rising authors today, that at least prompt yourself to read, to be inspired, not read to enjoy. I know you have been reading previously, all of those words you have been reading, to have the fun, interact with all these great stories. But why not? Why don't we have this September? Let us use September to read, to be inspired. And I'll place that into the magazine somewhere, urging everyone to read. Use September to read, to be inspired. And
yeah.
some of the merch, we're having some merchandise in between there, hoodies, t-shirts. You'll be seeing the ads in the magazine, customized with some of these prompts, these slogans. I'm reading to inspire. I'm reading to be inspired, something like that. So what I have to say about your works, about your collaborations, you are joining these collaborations because you want to inspire someone outside there. You want to add your voice on some of these different campaigns, these different initiatives, activities that are creating an impact in this world. And that's a very great work you're doing, amazing work you're doing outside there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. I had a yoga studio, and Inspired Change was the name of my yoga studio. And when I had to close my yoga studio, I really wanted to carry that work out into the world in other ways. And so inspiring change is kind of my foundation of where I want to move. And I think with these stories, if people can pick up a book and wherever they are in their journey or their trauma or their healing, and they feel alone and they feel like they don't know where to go to be better, to feel better, that these stories, either Soulshine, any collaborative, of course, Sensual Soulshine, there are ways that you can be like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in what I'm going through. And look at this person. She made it out. And she's an author. She's a published author and she's living her best life. I can do it too. And that's one of the big things that I wanted to inspire women, especially to do, is to know they're not alone, and in turn to be inspired to make changes in their life that would make them a better person or make them a happier person or help them reach their purpose.
Awesome. I have to say we had a very good conversation. An amazing conversation, I have to say.
Yes.
But as we get to the end of this beautiful podcast, I want to invite you to share with the listeners and all the viewers where they can get this book, how they can reach out to you, and the rest of the authors who are part of this particular collaboration.
So you can find the books on Amazon. It's Soulshine, Sensual Soulshine, and Soul Confetti. I've got a theme going there. So that's where you can definitely find the books. One of the places that you can reach out to me and the authors is on Instagram at Soulshine Unbound. And then you can reach out to me on my website, carriemyersauthor.com, or you can even email me at cjmyerspoet@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, you name it. I'm on Alignable, I'm on all those platforms.
Okay. Thank you for coming around, Carrie. Let me also, I have to say we had a very good conversation and it's an inspiring conversation. To the ladies out there, to the men, to everyone who loves literature, who loves good stories, I have to tell you, check out this particular book on Amazon, everywhere, on every bookstore where you get your books. Is it available in hard copy as well?
It is.
Both, even in audio.
It is not in audiobooks yet.
But I have to tell you, anywhere you can get this particular book, get it, read it, take your time, enjoy these beautiful conversations. I know you'll be inspired somewhere, somehow. I'm always here every single week. We're having some good conversations coming your way on YouTube, on Spotify, on Audible, Amazon, Podchaser, Pod Addict, anywhere you can get. It's Jimmyzest, Jimmyzest, Jimmyzest Show, proudly brought to you by Booklane Magazine. You can read more about the Booklane Magazine on booklaneinternational.blogspot.com. As well, get follow us on Green Radio Uganda. We shall be receiving your feedback, your comments, and everything. Don't forget to grab yourself a copy of the print when it comes out. It will be available to all Bookstagrammers. We're having Bookstagrammers we are partnering with on Instagram. You'll be finding all this content about the magazine, and don't hesitate to grab a copy. It will be having a lot. Maybe before we go, this particular month, it's Christine Hanna is taking on our cover. It's on top of our magazine, and still inside there is a lot to look out about independent authors, book rankings, TBR lists, and everything about books. You will find it in this particular one. It's a pleasure having you always. Share with a friend, reach out to Carrie, check out on our handles, on our socials. She's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, LinkedIn. It has been a pleasure having you all.
Thank you,
Carrie,
Jimmy, for
coming
having us.
around. Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
night.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.